The Commonwealth is made up of 53 sovereign states working together in mutual support towards shared goals of democracy, development, and respect for diversity. It includes some of the world's largest, smallest, richest, and poorest countries, with 2 billion citizens drawn from all faiths. For the first time in the history of the Commonwealth, the Virgin Islands will join 37 Commonwealth countries, 9 United Kingdom overseas territories, and the United Kingdom in raising over 650 Commonwealth flags. The event will take place on Commonwealth Day, Monday, March 9th at 9 a.m. Celebrations will begin with a procession and a ceremony at the Central Administration Complex, after which the Commonwealth affirmation will be read and the Commonwealth flag will be raised. On today's program, I have two guests who will speak to us about the Commonwealth, our shared values as a family, and our benefits as Commonwealth citizens. We'll also learn more about the Fly a Flag for the Commonwealth ceremony, which will take place on Monday, March 9th. Joining me today are co-chair of the Fly the Flag Steering Committee and Sister Islands Coordinator, Mr. Vincent Whitley, and long-serving educator and chairman of the Board of Governors for the H. Lavity Stoutt Community College, Dr. Charles Whitley. Guests, welcome, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. Welcome also. I'm glad to be here.
Now, Dr. Whitley, for the first half of the program, we will have a discussion about Commonwealth Day, what it is, and our values and benefits as Commonwealth citizens. Now, in my introduction, I gave a brief overview of the Commonwealth, but from your perspective, can you share with us what do you know the Commonwealth to be?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, the Commonwealth is an association, a voluntary association of 53 countries. Many of them were former members of what used to be the empire, the British Empire. But in 1976, that was changed as the Commonwealth. The reason for that may have been that in the British Empire, Britain was the ruler of the territories. But after many of them became independent territories, then the relationships changed, and so the Commonwealth Association was formed so that they could all still be in one association with the Queen as the symbolic head of the association. And from my understanding, the Commonwealth works through many associations to meet the needs of the citizens which they serve. And some of these associations is the Commonwealth Association of Universities, this Commonwealth Scholarship Program, the Commonwealth Lawyers Association, Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, and I think you're very familiar with that one. They meet biannually, I think. And the Commonwealth Foundation, Commonwealth Games, which I think is very popular and many people would be able to identify with that. Then there is the Commonwealth of Learning and also the Commonwealth Business Council. These are some of the associations, there are lots more, but these are some of the associations through which the Commonwealth Secretariat does its work and so on.
And as the Virgin Islands, as members of the Commonwealth, we can benefit from these associations. We are part of them.
Yes, because our BV Islanders take part in the Commonwealth Games. BV Islanders are recipients of Commonwealth scholarships and many other opportunities. And if you look at the priorities of the Commonwealth, really the priorities, democracy and good governance, respect for human rights and gender equality, eradication of poverty, sustainable development, and the promotion of the arts and culture. And through all of those, those various activities, we get some benefit from time to time.
And I know some of those values are things that we hold dear when you speak about good governance, education. Those are all principles that everyone really should aspire to have wherever they may live.
Yes, I think that is precisely why we have the government to provide the opportunities for the development of the people through these processes, education, and you know, a lot of attention is being paid to that today. The Commonwealth also have some symbols which sort of bind them together. They all do business in the English language.
Yes.
They have decided that second Monday would be the day when they celebrate Commonwealth, and they do have a flag, a Commonwealth flag, which, so those are three of the symbols which we identify with the Commonwealth.
No, that second Monday holiday, that's kind of shaping this conversation because, you know, we're going to have a big event that second Monday. But why do you think persons should be a part to celebrate that holiday? No, it's a holiday. Everyone is just glad for the break. But what does that holiday really represent for us?
Before we had what is now Commonwealth Day, we used to celebrate what was called Empire Day. Because you remember I said before the Commonwealth, you had the British Empire. So this celebration took place on the 24th of May, and it really was the birthday of Queen Victoria. It was a holiday in the territory, and all the schools would celebrate that day in various forms, programs, races, fete. It was a day when everyone in the community where the church school was would participate in the activities. It was a festive day in the 30s, 40s, and even the 50s. Of course, as time went on, it changed somewhat, but that is the way it began. When the British Empire was changed to the Commonwealth, then, as you said earlier, they decided on the second Monday as the day when they would sort of commemorate the Commonwealth. And it was the change that the government made within the territory, abolishing 24th of May and then changing the celebration to the second Monday in March. And the schools did continue the celebrations. Today, the celebrations are somewhat different, but they do have some celebrations.
Dr. Wheatley, you touched on another question because I was going to ask you, how have you seen the observance of Commonwealth Day change? You spoke earlier, you spoke about Empire Day just now. You spoke about, it was very festive, a lot of sporting events, and now the celebrations have changed slightly in their format. Why do you think it's important, though, that the celebrations continue and carry forth?
Well, the celebrations have changed because our population has changed. We have a very diverse population which represents over 100 countries. And the whole way of life has changed. The teachers themselves are viewing this holiday in a different light from how it was viewed in our day, because people nowadays think that a holiday is for them and they should not be called out to work for any reason at all when it's a public holiday. I'm not passing any judgment on that. I'm just saying this is how I understand the thinking is among people. And so it is that whatever activities take place on Commonwealth Day have to sort of evolve according to how the changes are taking place in the community. The changes in policies of government, changes in attitudes of people, and changes in the whole culture of the community. But I suppose the one thing that stays is that it is a public holiday and everybody acknowledges the reason for the holiday.
Thanks for that explanation. Now, Dr. Wheatley, you touched on it. You said that how in the Virgin Islands, maybe over 100 different countries are represented here. And none of those countries are part of the Commonwealth. And as a Commonwealth family, we have shared values and common ties that we should embrace. How in the Virgin Islands can we embrace this diversity that exists among us?
Well, that's not a very easy thing to do. It's a very challenging procedure, and I know a number of countries that have, immigration policies and so forth have had to deal with this because shared values, something that we all have to come to appreciate. For instance, it means that we would have to acknowledge greater respect for human rights. We would have to acknowledge our democratic principles on which the country operates and which the country is based. We must respect life. We must respect gender equality and respect the law. That is very important. And in the whole business of diversity, we have to be inclusive because we will have people of different persuasions, different nationalities, different ethnicities, different religious persuasions, and so on. And it's a matter of learning to appreciate difference. But in doing so and trying to be inclusive, I would say we need to be friendly, we need to be fair, we need to be firm also. And I suppose one of the important things that is required of us all is that we need to try to build bridges across these various diversities so that, we can have an inclusive community, a community that is more like a tapestry and, can live together.
I like how you painted that picture. That was very clear in my mind, that response. I think it can penetrate for all to understand. I really appreciated that answer. So, Mr. Wheatley, as we wrap up this first half of the program and with your interview, as it relates to Commonwealth Day and the local celebrations, Mr. Vincent Wheatley will talk about that in his part. But what would you like to tell the public as it relates to your final words about Commonwealth Day and supporting the activities that are being planned in the territory in observance of the day?
I think it is important for us, all of us, to have national pride. And if this celebration is going to be, is directed towards helping us to develop our civic responsibilities and our national pride, then it is something that we all should take part in because we are, as it were, a territory. We are not independent, and we are still under the British Nationality Act and so forth. So that as we develop our own civic pride and our own national pride, I think then it is important that we take part in the events that the country has or is sharing for all of us, because as we say, we are trying to develop shared values, even though we are maybe different from various angles. There are some common things that bind us together, some common things that we have to hold on to, some values that we should sort of look at and appreciate and develop and try to instill in other generations to come. And why it is important we all take place, because we are also setting the example for the future, because the younger ones would look at how we behave and how we respond to our national activities and how we appreciate our national culture, our national heritage, and so forth. And they in like turn will respond accordingly. So it is important for us to give our support to these public activities.
Dr. Charles Wheatley, thank you so much for sharing and enlightening us today about Commonwealth Day and for your appeal to the public to support the local activities planned for its observance.
Well, I have just given a little insight, as far as from my perspective, and I hope that, it will help someone to search further and try to dig deeper into understanding these issues.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wheatley.
You're welcome.
So you've joined a community walking group or the 10,000 Steps Per Day program, and you've established a daily exercise routine. Now here are a few tips to consider to ensure your safety while exercising. You should always drink plenty of water before, during, and after walks. If walking at night or during early morning hours, wear light-colored clothing. The right shoes are important too. Choose comfortable fitting shoes, and if you listen to music during your walk, make sure that the sound level allows you to hear the environment that you are walking in. Remember, your safety comes first.
To sign up or for more information, interested persons can call 468-2280. This message was brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Social Development, the Department of Youth Affairs and Sports, and the BVI Olympic Committee.
Mr. Vincent Wheatley, welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we heard from Dr. Charles Wheatley in the first part of this interview, speaking about the Commonwealth, who we are, how it became established, and how we should work together to help celebrate our diversity. Now, you will speak to us about the event that is planned by the Deputy Governor's Office for Commonwealth Day itself. Do share with us some more about that event.
Well, those of us who are my age and older will recall Commonwealth Day has been around for a very long time. But I think over the years, it's kind of lost its flavor, so to speak. And I think in an attempt to bring back a little bit of meaning to Commonwealth Day and what it means to us, or what it should mean to us, the Deputy Governor's Office is spearheading an effort to join with many other countries in celebrating Commonwealth Day kind of in a more formal fashion this year. This year, we're going to be joining many other countries in raising a flag for the Commonwealth. The theme this year is A Young Commonwealth. And we really have a program in place. We hope persons are going to come out and view this program. It's going to be at the government complex on March 9th. The program begins at 9 with a march from Soldiers Plaza with the uniformed bodies up to the government complex, where the Commonwealth Day flag will be presented. The flag is going to go through a ceremony, then the flag is going to be hoisted precisely at 10 o'clock. This time is synchronized with all the many other countries around the world who will be doing the same thing, along with, for the first time, cruise liners will raise a flag at 10 o'clock.
That's just brilliant to see so many different Commonwealth nations coming together in this act of unity, of oneness, to help speak to who we are as a Commonwealth. You say we're going to start with a procession that will lead straight into the complex, and a ceremony will take place there. Tell us, why is it that person should come out and be a part of this event?
In the Commonwealth, we are part of the Commonwealth. And the Commonwealth is a family of countries that work for the common good of all of us. The BVI, though a small country, does benefit significantly from the Commonwealth in terms of education, cross-training, and so forth. This program is really to kind of heighten our awareness of the Commonwealth and our place within the Commonwealth, and to bring us more aware of what's going on around the world. What you're going to have at the program, particularly what I'm particularly pleased of, is the hoisting of the flag at 10 o'clock, which is going to involve a young gentleman who has been doing a wonderful work in raising funds for the hospital. Most of the Commonwealth is comprised of youth, and we are focused on the youth this year also. So I'm going to encourage persons one more time to come out and join us. There are going to be several educational pieces being said that day to enlighten us about the Commonwealth and its benefit to all of us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wheatley. One thing before you go, though, that unity, those common ties, I just want you to share with us what you know the Commonwealth to be when you were growing up. Because like you said in your beginning, yeah, in your time, it might have been a very different celebration than what we're proposing to have this year. How do you remember the Commonwealth celebrations to be?
Well, Commonwealth is an English tradition. The English, one time used to say, the sun never sets on the British Empire. So the English have been very proud of their achievement, wanted to celebrate their own greatness. And I think that's where the Commonwealth idea came from. I think Dr. Charles Wheatley would have enlightened us about the history of the Commonwealth and the whole Commonwealth idea. Growing up, we did have the Commonwealth Day celebration where we used to play games in the schools. There was a message from the Queen being read. And we spoke a bit about the greatness of the Commonwealth and how good it was to everyone. It wasn't a very formal occasion, but we did get together in family and unity and have fun on that day.
And back to the event that we're having for this year. You say Virgin Islands will be one of several countries throughout the world who will be hoisting the Commonwealth flag. That just speaks to the vastness of this event, the bigness of it, and how even though we think we might be just a small little Virgin Islands, we're really part of a very large
large family. There are several hundred countries going to be joining us in the same event, happening at the same time.
And you said flags on the cruise ships.
And for the first time, a cruise liner will be raising a flag also.
The cruise liners raising the flag.
I think about 10 different ones are going to raise flags at 10 a.m. that morning.
We don't want persons to come out at 10 a.m. for here. We want them to come out.
We want to see the march past, to come at 9 o'clock, watch the uniform bodies, the cadets, the brigade coming down from Star Jazz Plaza onto the government complex.
All right,
it's going to be an entertaining day, but also very enlightening about the Commonwealth and its benefit to all of us.
Well, Ms. Whitney, so just before we wrap up today's program, your final words about the Commonwealth, the celebration that is planned for Monday, March 9th.
Yeah, I want everyone to come out to this program, particularly the young persons, as the Commonwealth is about you, the future is about you, the youth. So Monday, March 9th, at 9 a.m. at the Government Administration Complex.
9 a.m., Monday, March 9th.
Sharp.
Thank you so much, Mr. Whitley, for enlightening us and for sharing with us more about the Commonwealth Day celebrations planned for this year.
Thank you, Colleen. Thank you very much.
Since 1977, Commonwealth Day has been celebrated throughout the Commonwealth on the second Monday in March. Beyond the ties of history, language, and institutions, members are united by values set out in the Charter of the Commonwealth, including tolerance, freedom of expression, respect for human rights, the rule of law, protecting the environment, access to health, education, food, shelter, and gender equality. I invite all persons to attend the Fly a Flag for the Commonwealth ceremony to take place on Monday, March 9th at 9 a.m. at the Central Administration Complex. Join us in this historic occasion as the Virgin Islands joins the rest of the world in raising over 650 flags in unity on Commonwealth Day. Once again, I'd like to thank my guests for joining me today, and I'd like to thank you, the audience, for tuning in to this presentation. Reporting for the Governor's Group for the Government of the Virgin Islands, I am Communications Officer Colleen Penn.